This second segment we're going to walk into is all about expensive and weird purchases in real estate that I'm tracking. Oftentimes, we're going to see just some really cool properties in this segment. I personally just love to track expensive or unique purchases. So, first and foremost, this week, what we're bringing into is a mysterious buyer in Polo Club is finally identified. So, um, let me break this down for you guys. So I've been tracking this. All this dates back to 2022 and 2023. So two massive purchases in the neighborhood back in 2022 and 2023 had everybody scratching their heads and wondering kind of what's going on. And I'll explain to you here in just a second what those purchases were. But again, that's the Polo Club, and it was purchased by a mysterious LLC. That's not super out of the ordinary, of course, for multi-million-dollar purchases. We know those types of buyers love their privacy. So then we started figuring out that it was also tied to a string of purchases in the Cherry Hills Village neighborhood in 2022. So let's take a look at this. All right. In chronological order, May of 2022, an LLC bought 4 parcels of land in Cherry Hills Village for $22 million. This was one sale, 4 parcels of land. This, at the time, was the second highest purchase for a single real estate transaction inside the Denver area. You might be asking, what's the first? Well, that, of course, would be the purchase by former Broncos quarterback, Russell Wilson, when he dropped $25 million on his Cherry Hills Village mansion. Now, that was very widely publicized, of course, when he left Denver and they traded him. He ended up actually, did they trade him or they cut him? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I thought they traded him. I don't know. I'm a real estate guy. I love sports, but I think I might have that wrong. Anyway, if again, let me know in the comments, please. So he purchased it for $25 million, his mansion, right? He then ended up selling at a small loss when he moved out to Pittsburgh. Him and his wife sold their property here in Denver. Now, it was quickly revealed that the 4-parcel buyer was an heir to the Walton family. Again, this was May of 2022, and the 4 purchases were ahead of the family's eventual purchase of the Denver Broncos franchise. That was finalized in August of 2022. Now, that was found out pretty quickly. What I say these were tied to some other purchases in the Polo Club neighborhood, and you'll see here in a second. This took until just last week where we figured this out. So it was by a Walton family member. Following the official announcement of the Walton family purchasing the Denver Broncos in November of 2022, a couple large purchases started catching attention in the Polo Club neighborhood. This is where we're going. So first, it was a $17.7 million purchase of a nearly 10,000 square foot home. And these designs were inspired by Frank Lloyd Wright. It's a beautiful home. I'll show you here in just a second. The home sits on 6.2 acres. And at the time, the listing agent described it as a generational opportunity to own what he called an assemblage of land that's like a park in the middle of the city. And so let's just take a look at this real quick. I'm going to bring this up. So let's just take a look at some of these pictures of this property. Again, $17.7 million purchase for 10,000 square feet. Look at this incredible home. All right. Again, I mentioned designs inspired by Frank Lloyd Wright. If you don't know him, very famous designer and architect. His work is all over. I am an absolute sucker for these corner doors on the left side. I love that. To me, that screams wealth and opulence. That's one of those things that I just love. Got a pool in the backyard, and now we'll get to a couple pictures that show you what we're talking about. That listing agent definitely hit the nail on the head when he said this was an opportunity to own a park like. What did he say again? Hang on, I got to pull this up so I don't mess this up. An opportunity to own an assemblage of land that's like a park in the middle of the city. Okay, he's not wrong. Look at this. I mean, This overhead shot, this is an overhead shot of the property, and to me looks like it's a picture of City Park or Wash Park or something like that. He's not wrong. Um, so I want to break this down here. Now, the February of 2023, February 2023, there's another purchase, and it's the property right next door. It sold for an eye-popping $10.5 million. Now, this was a 4,500 square foot home with another 1.32 acres. So if you're doing the math there, that's almost, it's a little over 6.5 acres total. Now, what was eye-popping about this purchase was this property had most recently sold just a couple years prior. So February 2023, the previous purchase was 2021 for $4.2 million. So that's a 250% increase in just a couple of years. Let me tell you guys, I will tell you here in a second, when a property of that price point appreciates 250% in a couple of years, we're not talking about just a market purchase. We're talking about someone making that purchase for a purpose that they see more value in than anybody else on the market. And I told you it was the property right next door. So it was a different LLC for both properties. Again, not unusual, but they both traced back to the same registered address. Now, why do I share this with you about a couple years old transaction here in Denver? Well, we finally know who was tied to those two purchases, and it was another member of the Walton family, the new Denver Broncos owners, because they've just filed with the city of Denver for plans to demolish both houses, and they plan to build a massive 18,000 square foot mansion with expected costs of $20 million to build. Folks, look at these renderings. Okay, look at these renderings. Now, included in that was included in the public filing with the city of Denver. What they're planning is 8 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms. You're going to have a main residence, a guest house, a pool house, and nearly 6,000 square feet of what they're calling exterior heated hardscape area, which to me, I think that means a greenhouse. I don't know. That's a huge greenhouse, in my opinion. I don't know that I've ever seen a greenhouse that big. That's bigger than probably any house I've ever been in. 6,000 square feet. And so if you're adding up the cost of the land and the cost to build, that's a $48 million investment in property in 6.5 acres. Now going to be what I just say, over 18,000 square foot of mansion. One local real estate agent was quoted in this story saying, when you spend $20 million on land, you probably have the finances to make whatever you want come to life. You're not wrong. You're absolutely right. And here's to hoping that the Walton family opens up the property for tours before they move in, because I would love to take a tour of that.